So let's have a little bit of a conversation about California, shall we? You know, if you're like me and you love your rights and your liberties and your freedoms, if you enjoy being able to live your life how you see fit, as long as you're not infringing on the rights of others without harassment by the government, then you gotta love California, right? Because they truly do respect our rights and freedoms and liberties, and they hate harassing their citizens, right? Right? Oh no, that's completely 100% wrong in every way, shape, and form. California doesn't give a crap about your rights, about your freedoms, about your liberties, and they love to harass their citizens, most of the time, unjustly, as evidenced by a story I just ran across. Now, no, I'm not talking about all the new gun control that's just been enacted in California. That's a whole other story we can get into at another time, and trust me, we definitely will. But I want to talk about a guy by the name of Joseph Schwab. You see, one day, a few months ago, Joseph Schwab, well, he was just driving down the road. Who knows where he was going? Maybe he was going home, maybe he was going to work, and maybe he was in a bit of a hurry, weaving in and out of traffic just a little bit, passing cars by. Some people would say that's erratic driving. I say, hey, that's just a Sunday morning drive. But to each their own. But the problem is that an officer of the state saw him, decided to pull him over for this erratic driving, and give him a breathalyzer. Now, before I go too far, I should mention that the officer of the state wasn't a cop or really any sort of law enforcement official. It was somebody who worked for the California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control. Yeah, see, apparently in California, somebody who works for the Department of Alcohol Beverage Control has the right to pull somebody over and give them a breathalyzer. Not sure why, don't really understand that. They certainly can't do that here in Texas, but again, California loves you. Love your rights, don't you? Anyway, moving right along. So pulls him over, gives him a breathalyzer. Blows a 0 across the board. The guy is not drunk. He hasn't been drinking, but here's the thing. This officer of the law is not satisfied. So he arrests Joseph Schwab, takes him back to the local precinct or wherever an officer of alcohol control will take somebody when they arrest them, and proceeds to, against his will, mind you, give him a blood test. And again, 0 on the blood test. He is not under the influence of anything. Well, except one little thing. He was technically found to have minute traces of caffeine in his system. Get that, caffeine. The guy was actually a coffee drinker. And here's the thing. You see, they could have just sent him on his way. Give him a ticket for, who knows, reckless driving, maybe speeding, who knows. But they weren't satisfied with that. So they decided that he was going to get charged with a DUI for said caffeine. How's that for a kick in the ass? Yes, there's a guy in California having to go to court against the state to fight a DUI on his record for drinking a cup of coffee. Now, this is the definition of insanity. This is the definition of a restrictive, harassing government. This is California for you guys. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, forget about the taxes, although, well, let's not forget about them. Don't even talk about the gun laws, which are highly, highly restrictive and unconstitutional, but just this one simple example. When the state wants to nail your ass for something, they're gonna find a way, even if it's to screw you over your morning cup of joe. Again, that's California for you guys. So, to California as a state, to everybody over there in government, who knows, maybe if you're one of these kinds of assholes in law enforcement, I'll just say this in general, to all of you over there in California who think it's so great, all of you over there who work in government, who pass and enforce these shitty laws, go fuck yourself.